Have you ever noticed? Some people seem to have everything. Good friends, money, opportunities, but deep down they still aren't happy. And honestly, a lot of the time happiness isn't destroyed by one huge event. It gets destroyed slowly by small habits we repeat every single day without realizing it. Psychology actually shows there are certain behaviors that quietly drain your peace, confidence, and emotional energy over time. And today we're talking about 6 of the biggest ones, because one of these might be affecting your life right now without you even noticing it.
Complaining.
Everybody complains sometimes. That's normal. But when complaining becomes your default mindset, your brain slowly starts focusing only on what's wrong. You stop noticing opportunities. You stop appreciating progress, and eventually, negativity becomes automatic. Psychologists say the brain works like a pattern machine. The more you focus on problems, the more problems your mind finds. That's why some people stay stuck emotionally for years. Not because life is impossible, but because their attention is trapped on everything they can't control. The happiest people aren't people with perfect lives. They're people who focus on solutions instead of constantly replaying problems.
Negative self-talk.
This one is dangerous because nobody else can hear it. Only you can. The voice in your head matters more than you think. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm a failure, I'm awkward, I'll never be enough," your brain slowly starts believing it as truth. And over time, those thoughts become your identity. Here's something powerful. Most people are kinder to strangers than they are to themselves. Think about that. Would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself during your worst moments? Probably not. And if your mind becomes your biggest enemy, happiness becomes almost impossible to hold on to. Lack of goals. Humans need purpose. Without something to work toward, life starts feeling repetitive and emotionally empty. That's why people often feel lost when they wake up with no direction. Not because they're lazy, but because the brain needs meaning. Even small goals matter. A fitness goal, a creative project, learning a skill, building a better future. Progress gives people energy. When you feel like your life is moving forward, your mental health usually improves with it. Because happiness doesn't come from doing nothing, it comes from feeling growth.
Procrastination.
Most people think procrastination is just laziness, but psychology says it's usually stress and emotional avoidance. You delay the task because starting feels uncomfortable, but then something worse happens. The pressure grows, the guilt grows, and suddenly, simple tasks feel mentally overwhelming. The longer you wait, the heavier everything feels. And honestly, the hardest part of almost anything is starting, because once momentum kicks in, your brain usually realizes the thing wasn't as scary as it imagined.
Needing validation from everyone. This is one of the biggest happiness killers today. Especially in the social media era, a lot of people secretly base their self-worth on attention, likes, compliments, approval, being accepted. But when your happiness depends on other people validating you, your confidence becomes unstable because people's opinions change constantly. One day they praise you, next day they ignore you, and if your identity depends on external approval, you'll constantly feel emotionally exhausted, trying to please everyone. Real confidence starts when you stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Do I like who I'm becoming?" Comparing yourself to others. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy peace. Because no matter how well you're doing, there will always be somebody richer, more attractive, more successful, or further ahead. Social media makes this even worse. People compare their real life to somebody else's highlight reel, and eventually they stop appreciating their own progress. But here's the truth nobody talks about. There are people right now wishing they had your life, your struggles, your opportunities, even your current situation.
The moment you stop constantly looking at everybody else's path, you finally start enjoying your own. Happiness isn't about having a perfect life. It's about protecting your mind from the habits that quietly destroy peace from the inside. Less comparison, less negativity, less need for approval, and more self-awareness, more growth, more gratitude. Because, at the end of the day, a peaceful mind creates a happy life, not perfection.